And welcome back to Real Ag Radio and the Farmer Rapid Fire, brought to you by Corteva Crop Protection. Joining us right now from Corteva, it is Jason Smith, who is portfolio manager for herbicides for Western Canada. Jason, how are we doing?
Very good, Sean. Yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good. Well, are you all ready for the long weekend?
The May long? You bet. Yeah,
Well, okay,
ready for the May
okay.
long
I
weekend.
just spoiled it. I was going to ask you what you call it. Do you call it May long?
May long, yeah. What else would you call it?
Well, some of these. So, for example, Luke from Ontario, he was like May 2-4.
Oh yeah. Is that more what he's up to for this weekend?
Yeah,
Or
it's more of that's the activity. Yes, that's the
yeah,
activity.
yeah, exactly.
It,
Head to the beer store for a 2-4.
we've got that poll up at realagriculture.com, and there's a few people that call it, the Victoria Long Weekend, which
Okay.
it's very. I just don't travel in those circles.
That's the United Empire Loyalist crowd, or what is that?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's about 15% of the crowd, so
Oh yeah, that's probably about right, right?
they are there. Yes, still celebrating the victory of 1812. Okay, let's get to it here. In crop spraying, it's here. We go from like burn off to like when are we going to start seeding and planting to now we're talking in crop. We're off to a roaring start here in 25.
Yeah, it's quite something, right? Because I mean, I'm looking. We're not even halfway through May, and I already got people starting to talk about in crop. So I think some of the weather, this weather cool down that's coming, will probably slow things down a little bit, which I don't think is terrible. Hopefully, we get some nice general rains across that too. But yeah, certainly time to start talking about the in crop herbicide options, and we've got a couple great ones here at Corteva. So Rexade for wheat, which is everything in one box. Go out and get all the weeds. And then another one that we launched just a few years ago called Rezuvant XL, and that gives you that flexibility to add either an MCPA or a 2,4-D, kind of dependent on the weed spectrum, and gives you a really high level of control using that Group 1 mode of action for the grass seeds, and then Group 4s for the in crop, or for the broadleaf.
I like the just go spray it and kill everything.
Yeah, yeah, and that's really what
Besides
those
the
are,
wheat,
right?
you don't want to kill the wheat,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
everything else,
yeah.
yes, go.
Yeah, the idea that hey, the wheat and the barley come through it looking beautiful, and the wheats are done like dinner. So
Could use some rain out there.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, very much so. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, lots of fires up in northern Saskatchewan. I mean, I'm not. I'm a little ways out of there here in Saskatoon, but certainly some concerns up in the North Country there. And then I'd heard a bit out of Manitoba today with some fires up in that
Yeah.
north eastern Manitoba, maybe starting to move some cattle out of there. So yeah, some cool downs and rains would be very, very, very timely and very helpful to help get some of the stuff under control.
Because we're potentially doing in crop a little bit earlier this year.
Yeah,
You were well, Kelvin Hepner from our team. He had wheat out of the ground in 6 days. Like boom, it's up. Right. We're doing a little
right.
bit earlier in comparison to what we would consider probably normal. It's a little bit cooler in the morning still. Like we're talking, 4, 5, 6 degrees. What is there a consideration there on in crop spraying, or is that not as much a concern with in crop?
Yeah, I think with in crop, when you start to see temperatures, boy, you start to see temperatures below 5 degrees Celsius, I get a little skittish on
Okay.
on wild oats, just because and especially if it's a temperature spike, like if you've kind of had some stuff where it's hey, we're getting down to 4, 5, 6 degrees, then back up to mid to high teens, and then that's kind of the regular pattern. That's not as much, but if you see some of these temperature spikes where we've been maybe low double digits overnight, and then we start dipping down into the low single digits overnight. I don't think it's a bad idea to hang off 24 or 48 hours, just let the plants recover a little bit. So,
Yeah.
because certainly, that's one I recall as a TM where we'd had some troubles with some of those low temperature spikes, and wild oat control was kind of iffy, especially if you had some stuff that was a little bigger and had some tillers. You'd usually have pretty good control on the main stem, and then kind of get a sublethal dose on the tiller, which would, they're not super competitive with the crop, but if a guy can hang off, it's always nice to make sure you get everything. So,
And pay attention to those, to the label and the windows, the
yeah,
of application. I think that's important, and obviously that gets pushed depending on where we are in the year, but pay attention to it, know it.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the other things we've seen too is that some of these earlier springs, sometimes burn off gets skipped. and then guys get a little jittery trying to get in there at say
Uh,
1 or 2 leaf because the weeds are starting to get a bit bigger. And there's not, yeah, your options are a little thinner when you start to look at 1 or 2 leaf. Once you start to get to 3 and 4 leaf, then you have like really robust options for weeds. And as long as the weeds are kind of hanging in there at the same stage as the crop, waiting to 3, 4 leaf isn't going to be too bad.
yeah.
And then, like I said, that gives you a lot better options for control.
So this weekend, which we've both agree is the long weekend.
Correct.
It's May long. Never know. The could freaks. Everybody has a May long weekend freak snowstorm camping story.
Right.
But when you're cooking, are you barbecuing? You smoking some meat? Are you got a Blackstone? What do you got going on over there?
Well, I'd be a barbecue guy. I don't have the patience required for smoking. The patience and the prep time for smoking are a little bit beyond me, right? This idea that you have to brine it and then, get up at 4 in the morning to cook some chunk of meat for mid-afternoon. That's just, I don't have patience for that. So I'm definitely a barbecue guy. Let's slap it on there, maybe an hour and then we're eating. So
But you got to remember, it's like smoking's also an extended window for having more beer.
I suppose, yeah, I'd rather do yard work and then come cook something than just sit on the deck and smoke beer. So I
Okay.
kind of got two settings. I can either I can either drink beer or I can work. I can't do both, right? Like I
Ah,
can't.
okay.
Once I've had a couple of beers, then my interest in doing anything work related is
Totally
pretty limited.
subsides. It's just okay.
Absolutely,
We're committed to this now.
absolutely.
It was great to chat with you, Jason. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Sean.